Hello everyone, welcome to Pink Southern Cotton. Lorraine here, and today I'm going to be doing a video on how I make my yo-yos. I've had a few requests from you guys wanting a video on how I do mine. I'm sure there's different ways of making yo-yos, but I'm just going to show you my technique on how I make my yo-yos. I've been making them for years, and this way seems to work for me. There's two things I love to make is yo-yos, and I love English paper piecing also. So anyway, y'all have asked for a yo-yo video, so here you go. I'm going to do a tutorial. And also, you've also asked, what can you use yo-yos for when you do make them? And I'm going to show you a few of my projects I've made using my yo-yos in the past. So anyway, let's get started. Let me put my camera down a little bit more so you can see. I think that will work. Okay, I've got a few yo-yos here on my desk here, and you can make them any size you want. You just need to remember, as you can see, I've cut out a bunch of them. I like to cut out a bunch and have them. Matter of fact, when I travel with my husband, if we're doing a road trip, I'll bring a bag with some circles already cut out, and some thread and a needle and a little tiny pair of scissors. And I'll probably be working on yo-yos if you see me passing by on the road. I just love making yo-yos. And they're easy to make while you're driving. I mean, in the car for a while. So while my husband's, doing the driving and I'm on the passenger side, I'm just sewing away. And I usually can make quite a bit on a road trip. So, but anyway, that's how I do it. Most of the time I'm making yo-yos while I'm traveling. We just got back from San Antonio. I live in Texas, and we went to San Antonio and saw some really sweet friends we've had for many, many years, and they happened to be in San Antonio, and I said, well, let's meet them. So me and my husband drove down there and met up with them, had a wonderful time, and I made yo-yos on the way, quite a few. So but I want to show you what I do. Like I said, you can make all different sizes. I have templates that I sew up. I make, and then I'll sew up one. Like this one right here is how if you have a 2.5 inch circle from the side to side, 2.5 inches, it will make a 1 inch yo-yo. And this is how a 1 inch yo-yo looks. It's pretty small. Now I've made them smaller. So you can make them as small or as large as you want. Just remember, the smaller they are, the harder to turn them into making a circle, and they're going to be kind of sticking up on the top just because it's the size. But I do use these. So this is a 2.5 inch circle, and it makes a 1 inch yo-yo. So this is the rule. If you want a 1 inch yo-yo, you double that, say 2 inches, and then you add a 1/2 inch for your seam allowance. That's the rule to the yo-yo. This is my most favorite size I like to use. I use this size a lot. And this is just a DVD or CD disc that I'm using. And it's actually 4.5 inches across. And it makes a 2 inch yo-yo when it's finished. This is the size yo-yo once it's finished. And this is my favorite size. I like to use this size. It just seems to work with a lot of things I'm making. I made my yo-yo sewing machine pad right here with the 2 inch size. I made a lot of things with the 2 inch size. And also, if you're doing a quilt out of yo-yos, there's no recommended size for the quilt, but the 2 inch seems to work best, I think. I've done a small quilt before, and the 2 inch worked really good. So I would say between 1.5 to 2 inches would be a perfect size to use on a quilt. So this is my favorite one, like I said. And then you can go even larger. You can make these as large or as small as you want. This size is a 3 inch yo-yo, but you have to have a circle that's 6.5 inches across to get a 3-inch. So what you do, you double the, if you want a 3-inch, it'll be 3, you double it, 3 plus 3 is 6, and then add a 1/2 inch for the seam allowance. If you want a 2-inch finished yo-yo, 2 plus 2 is 4, and add a 1/2 inch to your circle, and that give you a 2-inch. So that's the basic rule to what size your yo-yo will turn out. If you start off, double what you want and add a 1/2 inch for seam allowance. So, all right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually make one of these. And just show you, and it's so easy, my goodness. See, this is another 2-inch one. I've got a lot of those. So just get your piece of fabric, and I'm just using cotton fabric. And you can double this up if you want to cut 2 at a time, 2 circles out at a time. I do that a lot, especially if I'm going to be making a lot of yo-yos. And it seems to be a little easier to cut out if you cut out 2 at a time, but you don't have to. All right, so what I'm going to do, I am cutting out 2. I'm going to just lay this here, and I'm going to get my friction pen, my pen that's erases with heat, and I'm going to draw me a circle. All right, you can see my circle there. So what I'm going to do, let's cut this out. These are so easy and fun to make. There is a contraption out there. I call it a contraption. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I actually have one. This. I bought this. It's for making yo-yos. It's by Clover. And it's this contraption, which you kind of pop your fabric. I'm not going to show you how to do it because I don't use this. I tried using it and I just didn't. I just found that it was easier for me to do it the way I've been doing it. But you can. But if you feel like you got to have this, you can buy this. I got this, I think, off Amazon. And a lot of people do use them, but I'm going to show you my technique on how I do it. But apparently those make the perfect yo-yo every time. But like I said, I got discouraged. I tried using it and I thought, oh, this is just taking too much time. So I go, okay, this is not for me. All right, so I got one of my circles. Okay. You need thread. Now I'm using 2 strands of thread. I've got a knot on the end because you want to make sure your thread is very strong and it doesn't break real easily, because if it breaks, there goes your yo-yo. And if you're using it on a really large project like a quilt, you know, you want to make sure that your thread that you're using is very strong. So with that being said, okay, I've got the wrong side facing up, and I'm just going to go up here, right here, not right on the edge, but right down from the edge, like maybe a 1/4 of an inch. and I'm going to go in, and this is going to hide my knot. Okay, now I'm going to fold that fabric over like that, and I'm just going to start running a stitch along the top, not on the edge, but right below, right next to that thread I just came up with where the knot's at. And I'm just going to go in and out, pulling the fabric down as I go, because I want my yo-yo to be finished, and this is going to have a finished edge, and this is going to give it a finished edge. So as I go, I just push that down like that. Let's go in and out. I find this so relaxing. I really do. We're going to go all the way around till we get to that knot. Yeah, I've always got a stash of yo-yos made, because I never know when I'm going to be using one for my projects, and I just can grab them if I got a whole bunch made up and just use it. Now, okay, I'm back to where I started. There's the knot. Okay, I'm just going to go in and put a stitch right there by that knot. Pull my needle through and thread with it. Okay, need to push that in like that. You almost make a little pouch. Looks like a little pouch. Okay. And I kind of put my thumb here and pull it around my thumb. That's just how I do it. Got my little pouch. I'm going to pull it tighter, as tight as I can get it. All right. And I'm just going to go in one of those folds right there. Now there's two ways to knot it off. I'm going to show you two ways. You can do it this way. Bring your thread through. The part that's got the point, you're going to take the thread and go 1, 2 around it, and then pull it out. And that's going to make a knot. Or you can do it this way. Just bring it through, catch the loop like that, and make a knot. And you can do this a couple of times, especially if you're going to be making a quilt with this, just to make sure you've got plenty of knots so it does not come undone. I'm going to do it another time. I've got a little bit. Okay. Now you can cut your thread. Right there above your knot. And there you go. There's your yo-yo. Now, some people, I didn't show you this, some people, after they still have their thread on there, they can go through the center and tie it off here too in the back. That's if your back is not going to be shown, you can do that too. I might have did it on some of these. I did on this one. I just went through the center, took my needle through the center, pulled it out and tied a knot right there. Yep, I did that on all of these, looks like. But it's not required. It's just something I've done for years. But recently I've just started doing them without the knot in the back. It really doesn't make a difference, in my opinion. So isn't that pretty? I just love these yo-yos. And like I said, I've done a lot of them. My favorite is the 2-inch, which that's what this one is. And I'm going to show you a few things I have made using my yo-yos. One thing is my sewing machine pad. It started out as a sewing machine cover, and I used to cover my sewing machine with it. And now I use it as a pad, so when I want to use my sewing machine, I just can pull it over without scratching my table with my pad and just use it, bring it to the edge of the table and just use it as a pad. So I've made that. Let me show you some more things you can do with yo-yos. I've added yo-yos here on this little pillow. I put scissors in there and thread. It's like a little pin cushion pillow. But these are 2 yo-yos. I put a larger one, then I put a smaller one in the center. You can make rabbits with them. Isn't that cute? So this is a 2-inch one, then I made a little bit smaller one. And this is a yo-yo, but I sewed it up differently. And this is a little yo-yo. You can make rabbits. I use yo-yos on the end of my thread holders. I made these little fabric boxes, and I put yo-yos on the... There's 3 yo-yos right there. There's another one. Really cute stuff you can make. It just makes it look really pretty. This is a little needle book I made a long time ago. And this is satin. And I made yo-yos and put on the front of this. My goodness, that's many years. Gosh, that must be 15 years old at least. I made a bunch of these and gave these away as gifts. I made this little clothespin with a yo-yo on it. I just finished this. This right here. I just finished this. And I put yo-yos. It's a little pouch. I call it my yo-yo pouch. And I put yo-yos on the front. And I've got a yo-yo up here on the handle and a yo-yo on the back for the handle. And what I'm doing with this is actually keeping smaller yo-yos in here. I've got a snap up here. And this one is actually a 3-inch circle, and it's making 1 1/4 inch yo-yos. And as you can see inside, I've got a bunch of yo-yos that size. So this is my new yo-yo pouch. But I'm only keeping this size in there. And this is a good size to have because I put this size on a lot of my little tiny projects. Isn't that darling? I just finished that. And let me see what else I got over here to show y'all. I've got aprons I've made in the past. Here's an apron I made. And this is the pocket, and I put yo-yos on the pocket. And down here. So cute. Let me tell you. I've got another apron. I used to make a lot of aprons and give them away as gifts, especially wedding gifts. If someone was getting married, the new bride or the bride-to-be would get an apron from me. Both my girls, my daughter-in-law and my daughter, both got aprons from me. Put yo-yos on there. I've got a lot of stuff to show y'all that I use my yo-yos. This is yo-yo on the front. And this is a little book I made. Got a yo-yo right here. And you can make the yo-yo like a flower by putting something green up here. Make it look like leaves. I put yo-yos on my little clock patches I made. And you guys have already seen yo-yos on there. Let me see what else I got over here. On my needle books I made, oh my goodness, I use yo-yos all on these. Yo-yos on the back. I might have put some in the front. I don't know. There's a yo-yo right there. There's a yo-yo inside. There's a English paper piece right there. Yo-yo right there, and you put a button inside, make it look really cute. See, all these have got yo-yos on them. I just love yo-yos. Yo-yo, yo-yo, 2 yo-yos. Another little, oh, I crocheted that. That's not a yo-yo. But here's one. Cute. Oh my goodness, how cute is that? So I do that in my needle books. And let me show you one more thing. My bunny bowl I made. I've got yo-yos going around the side here. There's one right there. There's one right there. See, different sizes. Different sizes. Then I've got 2 right here together. Isn't it fun? Oh my goodness. So you can do a lot of things with yo-yos. Just saying. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to make yo-yos. And like I said, this is my take on how I make the yo-yos. And I make them all different sizes, and I keep them on hand for all my projects. So anyway, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you make you some yo-yos and have fun doing it. All right, until next time. God bless you guys, and I will see you soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye now.